I say is gonna come back to bite me later, guys. I don't even want to answer that one. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I'm a loser. Every day feels the same. I was like, I don't ever get a day off. This last church did me wrong, and now I'm like trying to find somewhere else who sees it my way. I would like to change that about myself sometimes, I think. I need to learn to relax a little more. Wow, that's a tough one. That's hard. Hi guys, welcome to my room. It is such like a gloomy, dark day outside. Sorry if the camera feels a little dark. I'm just feeling really cozy in here on my bed with a whole stack of questions from you guys. My husband and I attempted to answer a whole pile of your questions the other week, and yeah, we didn't get very far. So I'm just sitting here on my bed with my cup of tea. We're gonna get right into these questions. Just by a quick way of introduction, if you're new, I'm so glad you found my channel. Subscribe if you like what you see. My name is Megan Fox. I'm a Mennonite who lives in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I'm a mom of 2 kids, a 2-year-old and an 8-month-old. Goodness, wow, they're growing so fast. And I'm married to Josh. I've been on YouTube for a little over a year. I love it here so much. I just love the community we have here. So consider subscribing if you'd like to be a part of that, and let's get into these questions. There's a lot of Christmas questions, a lot of parenting questions, which guys, I'm 26 and I have, yeah, two and under, so I don't have a ton of advice with that, but I will tell you what I do, and that's pretty much all I can say. And I'll tell you what works for me and what doesn't, and maybe give you some new ideas. Yeah, we can kind of brainstorm together. Also, I had a bunch of questions about being a Mennonite and things that we do, and yeah, why we're different or weird or whatever. So I will address as many of these as I can. The first one here says, do you have any tips for helping a toddler sit through church? We don't put ours in the nursery. I don't think our kids go to Sunday school till they're 3 years old at our church. I have learned that with my toddler, the best thing to do is actually limit what there is to do. Like, there's not a lot of options. I do still give her a snack. Like, I take a snack along into church, mainly because she doesn't have time to eat a huge breakfast in the morning. And so I do kind of feel like she's halfway hungry through, you know, the middle of church. But let me know down below, is 2 years old, is that time to cut off the snacks? I usually just do like goldfish or something. Also, then I usually have a pen and a tablet she can write on, and that's about it. Also, I would say my daughter loves to just like sit in my husband's lap and I'll like tickle her hand or something. We get to sit together in church, so that's nice. I know some Mennonite churches, they actually segregate the men on the one side, the ladies on the other. But it's been going really well in church lately since I've limited what we let her have and the options. And also, me and Josh teach Sunday school as well. And so whoever's teaching that Sunday will take Evonnie with her, just so she still has to sit and stuff, but it's a change of scenery and she's not sitting in the sanctuary like the whole time. And teaching junior Sunday school, which is like 10, 11-year-olds, it's a little more chill. And so yeah, she likes to sit in there and look at a book or something while we teach. So that question was from Becky Joy. Anna Louise too says, Megan, when you're doing activities such as running, will you wear pants or do you like to try and still wear a skirt? Yeah, I usually just wear like an athletic skirt. I get them usually at the Main Street Exchange. There's several places you can get them. I will link a few options down below. I find that I can still move really well without having like my butt out for everybody. Also, what she asks, I've noticed you never wear a wedding ring. Is this a Mennonite tradition or you just not prefer one? Okay, I'll answer that in just a second, but can you guys spy the lie in this little picture? It's my tea. If you guys have been around for a while, you know that I do not drink hot drinks. So I'm gonna set this down. It's kind of a prop, kind of not. I've been testing out different methods of making my own homemade medicine ball. It's kind of like hibiscus mint lemon tea. If you are familiar with Starbucks, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I wanna actually make my own cold version of it. I do not wanna get tea on my brand new bed, so I'm gonna set this down. Speaking of my brand new bedding, this video is sponsored by Parachute. I knew we needed new sheets, but I was just gonna wait till, you know, this winter or spring when I get around to redoing this room here. But when Parachute reached out to me, I'm like, sure, why not? I've been needing new sheets, let's just do it now. And I will show you guys in case you want to buy new bedding for this winter. I'm really loving the bedding from Parachute. They also make a lot of other stuff, like stuff for your bathroom and other home products. I ordered everything in linen. The fitted sheet, the top sheet, and also the duvet cover are all in just a white linen. And I just love natural, like I love linen. I'm actually sewing linen curtains for my living room. Yeah, it's just like a natural fiber and just gets better and better the more you wash it. I also ordered pillow covers. These are in stone. And then the quilt that I'm sitting on here is a pebble gray color. I just love all like the muted tones of the bed. I am planning on redoing my whole bedroom eventually, like I said, maybe this winter or spring. But I was so happy when they reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like to send you some bedding to test out. And I have to say, I'm really impressed for the short time that I've had it. This is the little coverlet quilt that I picked out. It's like this nice gray color, pebble gray, I think they called it. Some people don't like linen because of like its wrinkly look, but I actually think that it's kind of charming. And no, I'm not going to iron my sheets. They do have other fabrics in sheets, but I picked the linen because I just really wanted to try it out. I love how it looks. We are still getting used to how it feels though, I have to admit. It's not quite as smooth as like the cotton sheets we had before, but I read somewhere that they just get softer and softer the more times you wash them. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how this works now and into summer. Linen absorbs like 20% of its weight in moisture before it actually starts to feel damp, which will be wonderful this summer. But if you're looking to spend some money on good quality sheets, I think Parachute would be the brand for you. And yeah, they actually have a whole holiday gift guide on their website, so you feel free to go ahead and check that out. I can't really sell you on this bedding without you feeling it, but guys, it just feels like really good quality. You look at it and you see like, yeah, it's crafted definitely with lots of care. And yeah, it's a really premium product, I would definitely say. I don't have a ton of stuff on my bed right now. I like just kind of a clean look, and I feel like Parachute kind of has that vibe as well. So go to parachutehome.com/meganfox and you'll get free shipping on anything that you order within the US. Again, that's parachutehome.com/meganfox for totally free shipping within the US. Okay, so now that you know where my bedding is from, this dress, I should probably tell you where I got it. This is actually from Amazon. I will put a link down below. You saw the red version of this, I think. I got the cheetah version just for fun. I mean, it's been all over forever. It's probably going out of style any day now. But Evonnie just loves when I wear fun dresses and stuff, so cheetah print it is. And it's so, so comfortable. I have the red one and I decided I gotta get some more colors. Anyway, back to the question about wedding bands. I mean, I can give you the long answer or the short answer, but I guess for me, a wedding band doesn't really hold any merit. I'm still married to my husband. I still married to him for life. Just because I have a wedding band on doesn't mean that it's somehow more of a promise, if that makes sense. Although I do see how it can be a good symbol. I know there are a lot of people that aren't Mennonite that also choose not to wear wedding bands for like work reasons or just like economical reasons and stuff. But yeah, me and my husband just choose not to because it doesn't really hold any merit for us. Also, the Mennonites in our area, that's not really common at all. I guess it's like a cultural practice and maybe also just a way to live simply. Another Mennonite question here. Hi Megan, says Agatha. I love to watch your videos. Did you start to wear a head covering when you were baptized? If so, did you wear it all the time or just sometimes? And I did. Were actually covered my head before I got baptized. At our church, what you would do is you confess that you became a Christian or whatever, and then you would become part of a new believers class where they go over like the doctrines of the Bible and stuff and just make sure that you totally understand, you know, what the Bible is even saying. Because yeah, it's a big decision to follow Jesus and they want to make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. Not that, okay, that sounds ridiculous, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's just like a good thing for all new Christians to know their theology a little bit better and stuff. Kind of a Bible study. And then after that, you get baptized. So it wasn't like immediately after, which I think it would be kind of cool if you could do it immediately after, but at our church, that's not the way they did it. So yes, I had actually been covering my head before that even because I started to understand what it meant. So I'm not gonna make Evonnie cover her hair until she like decides that for herself. It's not like a uniform, like, oh, I just make her do it because she's like a little mini me. It's something that holds a little more value. Yeah, I talk more about that in a different video. I will link that one down below as well. Jill Locklear says, do you draw names or how do you do gift giving? What are some of your favorite traditions you do every year? Yes, with my family, we put all of our names in a hat and go around and pick one out, and we spend, I think it is $50 for whoever you found. I've also done it with my cousins and that side of the family. For years and years, we would do like a $20 gift, but we don't do that anymore because the family has gotten so big. Also, you ask about games, and there's so many good ideas on Pinterest. You gotta Google them. I will give you a tip though, I know there's different versions of the whole now you have it, now you don't game, but I would caution you, like, think twice about doing that game. We did it once and I felt like it got kind of awkward at the end because at least the version we played, you could like take gifts from somebody else instead of getting out of the pile in the middle, and you could open your gift up and stuff. Anyway, so at the end there was just like 3 or 4 gifts that nobody wanted, and I felt really bad for whoever those 3 or 4 people were. I mean, that's just, it's awkward. I mean, right? Everybody wants to have people fighting over the gift they brought. Anyway, so I would think carefully about that. Maybe the best way to do now you have it, now you don't is you take your gift and nobody unwraps them till the end, maybe. That way you don't actually know what you're getting inside. So it's not like fighting over the cool gifts and the lame gifts. I don't know. It was just a little bit awkward. So I'll just caution you with that one. Kay's Life says, since you are a Mennonite, are you guys planning on homeschooling your kids? I don't think around here, like, Mennonites homeschooling their kids is not a Mennonite thing. Like some Mennonites do homeschool their kids, some non-Mennonites homeschool their kids. So it's not really like across Mennonite lines. Actually, in my area, I feel like it's very common to send your kids to a Mennonite school. And okay, this is kind of juicy here. I make some money off of YouTube, and all the money that I make, like, we have not upped our lifestyle in any way. We are just putting it in like an education fund for our kids. So I work like 20 hours a week on YouTube, and all that money is going towards my kids' education. And I was just thinking, oh man, it takes like $10,000, I think, to redo our kitchen, and I would love to be able to do that in like 10 years. And I'm like, oh man, what if I would just homeschool them? Then we'd have that money so much quicker, and we could totally redo our kitchen. And like, and I was a school teacher for 6 years, and so I know I love to teach. Like, I love to teach. That's just in me. But my husband really thinks that there's some things that you get, you know, going to school with other children, having other influences in your life besides just your parents, that is a really good benefit. And I agree with him. I really loved going to school, and I wouldn't want to rob that from my kids. But at the same time, like, if I was just being selfish, I would keep my children home with me all day, I think, just because it's going to be so hard to send them off on the bus and everything. But school atmosphere and school life is so fun too. So I guess I'm kind of on the fence. I'll probably just keep plugging away here at YouTube. I really enjoy it, and I'll just keep saving all the money I can for Christian education for my children. So yeah, if you ever took the time to watch a video, share a video, comment, like a video, subscribing really helps, because then brands see that, oh, you have people following you, and then they want to, you know, do brand deals like Parachute did for me today. Yeah, so that's kind of why I'm doing YouTube. So I don't have, like, a lot of people to afford Christian education, they will, like, you know, raise puppies, not a puppy mill or anything, but just like a family pet. They'll raise puppies and stuff and sell the puppies. And I do not want to do that at all. So I kind of think of YouTube as like my escape route from that, because you pretty much need a side hustle if you want to pay for a Christian education. It is not cheap. And as far as public school, I think there are some good public schools in the area, but I don't think we're gonna put that up as an option for our kids. Vanessa R says, just had a baby and need help. How can I get my newborn to sleep on his own? Oh, guys, more parenting questions. This one I feel like I had really great success with. My second baby sleeps even better than my first one, and everybody said my first baby was like a fluke. They said they'll never be like that again. So I'm really nervous for the third baby someday. I really hope it sleeps through the night, because my methods worked great for the first two, but we'll see. I did make a whole video about it, but I guess long story short is basically I would put them on a schedule right away with feeding every 3 hours, round the clock for the first 2 weeks. And then after that, I would just let them wake up on demand at night. And since they were getting fed every 3 hours through the day, they started to put themselves on a schedule at night, and it would go down to 2 feedings a night, 1 feeding a night, and then pretty soon, actually before 8 weeks, my daughter and my son were both sleeping through the night. I have a whole detailed video about it, so I'll just put that down below, because I know it is such a pain point. If you don't get your sleep, you can't be a good mom. It's just how it is, especially me. I need 8 or even 9 hours of sleep. What is your advice on discipline for ones as young as your daughter? I had a lot of questions about this. That one was from Becca M. And I have a lot of different things that I like to do with, like, I have a 2-year-old. She turned 2 in September. And something that I have done consistently, and I do it probably 10 times a day, is I look her in the eyes and I'll say, Evonnie, look in my eyes. So if I told Evonnie to do something and she didn't do it, I will come around the corner, I will say, Evonnie, look in my eyes, and then I will say, put down your toys, it's time to come for supper. And we're making eye contact, and she knows, like, the next step is discipline. And it works so well. And I try not to say that just for negative things. Like, we've just been working on potty training for a while, so if she, you know, goes to the bathroom without even telling me and just goes on her own, I'll be like, Evonnie, look in my eyes. I am so proud of you. You're getting to be such a big girl. And like, so when I say, Evonnie, look in my eyes, like, it's not just a negative thing. And another tip I have is to get down on their level. Often when I'm saying that, I will get down on her level and say, look in my eyes, and then I will tell her, I'm so proud of you, I love you, or whatever, because something happened. I didn't hear I love you a lot as a kid, and no knocking at my parents. It's just not, I don't know, it actually would have been probably awkward to hear that too often. It's just the generation and kind of just the culture, I guess, I was raised in. But there's something that I'm trying to do with my kids, like start to say I love you a lot, you know, from a young age, so that it's not such a stigma attached to it, or like it's not super awkward. I'm bad with words, guys. Anyway, so it's something I'm trying to be really intentional about. And then another thing I like to do is not repeat myself. This is hard, but if you get in a habit, yeah, they learn. So if I tell her to do something and she doesn't do it, I'll, like I said, go around the corner and I'll look in her eyes and I'll say, Evonnie. And if she's looking at me, obviously she can hear what I'm saying. and I will tell her one more time, and then she knows, like, she better do it. Anyway, just some tips for me. But guys, I feel like you guys could give me lots of tips, and every kid is different. I am by no means under the impression that the same exact method is going to work for Fletcher. And she's 2. It'll be completely different when she's 3. I shudder to think. Anyway, I'm trying to like do my best now so that's not super hard later. Bing Bong 2705 says, I am not religious myself, don't hate me, but I love watching your videos as your view on life and others so loving, kind, and considerate. I would like to know your views on non-religious people and how you deal with people who are different, have different views from your own. So I get this question kind of often actually, and my view on people that are not Christians watching is that's great. That's actually why I'm putting out these videos a lot of the time. I want to like break down the misconceptions of what it means to be a Christian and a Mennonite, and I just want to like give you motivational videos to make you feel better about life. But I have to say, like, I do get a lot of DMs and stuff saying stuff like that. I'm not a Christian, but I really like your channel and blah, blah, blah. And it makes me really happy because that means there's something about our lifestyle that is attractive and appealing. But it also makes me really sad because I believe there is only one way to heaven, and that's through Jesus Christ. And so it does make me sad. But I don't want to ever come across super preachy, so I don't talk about it a ton. Maybe I should talk about God more on here. I don't know, but I feel like he's just in my everyday life, and it's not something that I think to sit down and just like preach at y'all or anything. But yeah, so I'm totally fine if you are not a Christian and you're watching right now. Keep right on watching, but just know that in my heart, my deepest wish would be for you to discover Jesus for yourself and to feel his presence near you and to, just surrender your life to him. But we can still be friends either way. But I think somebody else somewhere asked if I have close friends that are not Christians, and honestly, not really close friends. I mean, some of you guys on here may not be Christians, and I consider you guys my friends, but like in real life, like close friends, not really. I have a lot of like old youth group friends that I would have met from church. Also, I went to a Mennonite school, so a lot of Mennonite friends. I do get out and about some, and I do meet non-Christians and stuff, but even my mom's group is like a church-based group, so most of us believe in Jesus, whether we're Mennonites or not. But yeah, I guess that answers your question a little bit. Prairie Rose asks, what's your favorite Mennonite recipe? Guys, I've been thinking about that question. I didn't really prep ahead of time for these questions too much, but I did read over them. I don't even know what constitutes a Mennonite recipe. I know Mennonites cook with a lot of brown butter and stuff. That's not really my taste, but I was thinking about it a little bit. Maybe is dry beef gravy a Mennonite thing? Like, do you guys know what dry beef gravy is? I'll put my recipe for it down below. It is so good over toasted rye toast. I get it at restaurants when we go out for breakfast. I love making it at home. It's like, I think some people might call it cream chip beef. Yeah, so good. We get a quarter of a cow like every other year, and yeah, this dry beef always goes really fast, and then I wish for more. So I guess maybe that, or canned homemade grape juice. Name a time in your life when your faith helped you most in either making a difficult decision or survive through a difficult trial. I would definitely say that some advice that's really helped me is just to do the next right thing. If you're trying to make a big decision, just do the next right thing, and like, it's kind of a journey. Like, God will bring you through. Keep studying his word and just do the next right thing, like what you know to do next, and eventually it'll happen. Like, my husband's journey to start his own business was long and difficult. He worked for an Amish guy for several years. There was just not really any opportunity there to move up. The pay wasn't great. Then he went to another company where they did different things. So he learned completely different skills there with construction. Then he actually went on to another company where he got to do a little more of the sales side of things, like roof repairs, and he learned even more different variety of things. And now looking back, like, it was so hard, like agonizing over to switch jobs and if it's the right thing to do. But God, like, looking back, it was totally like a progression that God was leading us. And then he felt like he got a call that he was supposed to come help work on the Ark. So we went down to the Ark in Kentucky and worked on that. I could tell you so many stories about, I could do a whole story time video on working at the Ark, but I got to help work on the Ark, and yes, it's one of my most proud moments. So he quit his job and he bought a trailer, and we went down to Kentucky and worked there for 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks helped us pay off the trailer and the tools to start his own business. And looking back, all those jobs, it was not fun to change jobs, but he learned so many different skills at each of those jobs that now, today, he can do so many different things in his business. And I know that's not necessarily about my life. I could tell you other stories about how God led me to yeah, just become a mother and to start a YouTube channel, to move here. Like it always, if you look back, it's just doing the next right thing. Like go to that open house, or go to the job interview, or get off the birth control, whatever the next step is, guys. Just do the next right thing and God will be with you and he'll lead you through it. And yeah, he doesn't expect us to see the whole way into the future. We're humans. This question I loved and I meant to answer it when Josh was with me. It's from Chrysanthia. It says, what attracted you to each other in the beginning? And I really wish I would have asked Josh this question when we were doing that Q&A together. By the way, right up here is the Q&A that we just filmed. But I think what attracted me to Josh was that he was confident. Like he wasn't like super, you know how 17-year-old guys can be like kind of self-aware and just awkward. He wasn't like that. He was fun. He liked a lot of the same things I did. We bonded a lot over playing sports, volleyball, and we were both social people. We're a lot alike, actually, now that I think about it. He thinks we're totally different. But yeah, I just really like that. And also his passion for stuff. Like when he was into something, he was in it 100% and he was like all about it. And yeah, I just really admired that in him as well. Marilyn Laux says, I lost my temper with my teenage daughter yesterday when she did something very inconsiderate and just felt awful afterwards. We discussed it and all is well again. I remember feeling like this at times when my kids were little toddlers and preschoolers. How do you deal with feelings and times like these? Okay, this is a good one. I'm trying so hard to do better. I cannot apologize. I'm terrible at it. I think, yeah, it's just something that it's so hard for me to be humble and say, it's my fault. I'm sorry. I'm a loser. Forgive me in so many words, whatever. But I'm really trying hard to do that. And I have a 2-year-old. And so they're so easy to forgive. Like sometimes I discipline her accidentally because I thought she did something with bad intentions, or yeah, and I realized, oh my word, it was completely an accident, or she didn't understand what I was saying or whatever. So I would get down on her level and I would be like, I'm so sorry. And I try to explain to her why I was not happy with her and stuff. I misunderstood. I'll try to explain that to her. I don't want her to just think I'm this erratic person who's happy with her one minute and disappointed with her the next, you know? I want to give her a logical reason. Look, I didn't mean to do that. I was sorry. And it's hard at this young age. With teenagers, yeah, I don't know. I think someday, anything I say is going to come back to bite me later, guys. I don't even want to answer that one. Amy Granzier says, you recently uploaded a video about your KJV journaling Bible and I'd love to see how you use it. Also, do you and your husband do any sort of Bible studying together, or do you do that on your own? Okay, I want to insert some footage here because I don't want to run downstairs and get my Bible because I don't want to wake the kids up. But I got this journaling Bible from Christian Book Distributors, I believe it was, and it's going to be the grandma Bible, if you know what I mean. I'm going to pass it down to Evonnie, and then Evonnie can pass it down to her first daughter or whatever. I enjoy drawing and doodling and stuff, and so I just kind of use watercolors and pen and yeah, whatever in the margins, and just do little graphic designs on the sides. I kind of do this when I'm at the cabin with friends. It's something to do with your hands while you're sitting around talking. And so that is what I do with it, and I really enjoy it. And yeah, I try to date, the date that I did them, but yeah, it goes long periods of time, and then I'll do 3 or 4 one weekend at the cabin kind of thing. So it'll be a lifetime thing, and I might actually, I'm not going to try to fill up every page and stuff because maybe Evonnie wants to add to it when she's older too. I don't know, but I'm kind of sentimental like that, so I want to have a few things like that to pass on to my kids. Also, you ask if me and Josh do Bible studies together. We did when we were dating. Every single Sunday, we would have a little Bible study thing together. Not super long and heavy, but it would often bring up good conversations and topics, and we could make sure we were on the same page with things, and that was really good. And we don't do that on a regular basis anymore. We just came away from the Art of Marriage. It's a weekly marriage seminar. And so one thing we did decide is that we're going to invest more into our marriage by doing things like that. And I know there's a place that has some hers Bible studies, and I want to order some of those. So I will put a link for that down below because I think I'm actually going to get Josh that for Christmas. Not that we're going to necessarily sit down and do them together, but I'll do them in the morning when I get up, and he can do them when he does his devotions. And then we actually have something common to talk about, and we can make sure we're keeping each other accountable, even though we don't do, our mornings at the same time. He gets up at 5, I get up at 6:30 usually. Levi Bridge, I'm assuming you're a guy here. He says he'd like to see a video in the day in the life of Josh. Wow. I'm trying to think how I can make that happen. I don't think Josh would be too impressed with me up on the roof with him filming as he's doing stuff. But I think his days are a lot of he's in construction, and so I think his days are a lot of consulting, you know, new clients, finding what they want, finding what the problem is, you know, talking to them. And then he'll also, you know, work most days too, like 10, 12-hour days. He'll do the work, the manual work. He has one employee with him, and then he'll come home from work and he'll eat supper, and then he usually goes back to book work, usually like 2 or 3 nights a week. You know, there's payroll to deal with and quotes to get out and research to do. And so, yeah, he really does it all right now. I'm really proud of him, but it's a lot of hours. Like, he just told me, he called me a little bit ago and was like, hey, Megan, I'm going to be gone all Saturday morning again. And I'm like grouching to him, like, oh. I said, every day feels the same. I was like, I don't ever get a day off. They're all the same. They all blend together. Like, what does the weekend even mean anymore? And then I thought about it later. I'm like, he's just trying to like provide for the family and stuff. So sorry, just being real here, guys. I'm not the perfect wife. Yes, I was snapping at my husband, and I do that far too often. I know he's just trying to provide for the family, and I feel like he is home a lot. Like, with having his own business, he can come home early if he needs to or something like that. And so that happens once in a while too. So you take the good with the bad when you own your own business. But yeah, I don't think Josh is going to be doing his own day in the life video or anything anytime soon, but that was a great idea. Carrie Gar asks, hello Megan, I'm a Christian single mom and I'm wanting to become Mennonite. Do you have any tips on how to become one? Wow, that's a big thing, because I don't know, I guess I would Google in your area or talk to a Mennonite at the grocery store that you see or something and find a church to go to. And if you like it, great. If you don't, you know, keep looking around. There's so many different flavors of Mennonites, and it is a big step if you were not growing up a Mennonite. I will say, I feel like us Mennonites don't do a great job sometimes at deciphering things like what we do that's actually biblical and what we do that's just a tradition or like a culture thing. And so I think sometimes that can be hard for people that are coming in. Like, there's so many little nuances of like the way we do things that it's not necessarily like scriptural, like you must do it this way, but it's just kind of like how we do it. Like, in my area, we don't go out to eat on Sundays usually, like the Mennonites don't. And I see value in that. That's how I like to be. But I think sometimes people can like totally say, look, it says in the Bible, thou shalt not eat out on Sundays. I mean, like different stuff like that. There's all different ways to interpret stuff in the Bible. And I don't know. I just think I'm talking to us Mennonites. I know some of you are watching. I think sometimes, yeah, we need to be better at discerning what we do because the Bible says so, and what we do because it's just always been done that way. And, you know, and be willing to accept differences from people that are, you know, first generation Christians or first generation Mennonites or whatever. Yeah, hopefully you find the Mennonites really friendly in your area, and just really pour yourself into the Bible and reading it and studying it. And I wish you the best success. Abigail Evans says, do you ever want to wear your hair down and be able to style it? Practically, no. This is my choice for myself. It's not like my husband tells me this is how I must wear my hair. And I can still have pretty hair even if I am wearing it up and out of the way. And yeah, I can't say I ever really wish that. Did you get diastasis recti? And if so, how did you go about healing it? With my daughter, not even a finger width, hardly anything. With my son, I did, it was like probably 1 finger. And I would have to say it's still not completely gone, but I like to plank a lot, like on my forearms and on my toes. I am actually working up to my New Year's resolution for this year. Again, I did this 2 or 3 years ago, is to be able to plank for 5 minutes straight by December 31st. So right now I'm at like 3 minutes and 25 seconds. So by December 31st, I want to be at 5 minutes straight. Ugh, guys, anyway, it works at tightening your core. And yeah, it's just a good all over body exercise. That's kind of what I do. Don't do sit-ups, that's like the worst thing. But yeah, you can Google online some different things that you can do. But yeah, I know people who've had way worse than me and got it closed up again. Okay, this next question I actually debated whether I wanted to answer it or not because it sounds a little bit negative, but this is the whole reason I have my channel, to set things straight about us Mennonites. And I know we're all very different, but listen to what Miss Green has to say. Okay, Miss Green says, the Mennonites that live in Alberta are very legalistic. They're very different from you guys in many ways. You almost never see the moms because they're always inside and their main language is German. There are a lot more things about them that differ from your lifestyle. I was just wondering if you know anything about these types of Mennonites and the way they live, and how some Mennonites have grown more open to new stuff like technology and others haven't. I hope you understand and can answer this burning question of mine. Okay, my answer to that would be Mennonites are all very different, and I think sometimes though there is this like stereotype that we're kind of standoffish, and I hate that. I hate that so much. but I can see where it's coming from. The Bible does say to keep yourself unblemished and untainted from the world. And so like that whole like trying to stay pure and not be influenced by the outside world and stuff, it does kind of play a part in probably why they're not like in all the social life stuff, you know? But also that if they don't speak English very well, like German's their first language, it's probably another part of it. Another thing I think sometimes plays into it is when there's Mennonites in a big community, they don't have to talk to anybody else. I know that's something that can be a problem in Lancaster County. There's so many of us Mennonites. We don't really have to interact with other people if we don't want to. Yeah, we're supposed to be a witness to the world. How are we doing that if we're behind four walls all the time? But also, I think they would probably say a woman's place is in the home, which I agree with in some ways. And in other ways, I disagree very much with that. Yes, we are the primary caregivers for the most part because our husbands are out, you know, winning the bread. I don't think that means that we have to stick around in our houses all the time. Like, the children need to see what the world's like. And I feel like being a parent, sorry, this is just me thinking out loud here. It's very hard to balance like sheltering your children from like the evils and awfulness of the real world, and also like exposing it to them like safely so that they're not so sheltered that they don't understand like what real life is, you know. And then when they get older, it's like they don't even know how to handle it. But I think I'm getting a little bit off your question. But yeah, I'm not going to defend them for being snobby, but maybe they just don't understand you and you don't understand them. Yeah, maybe have you tried talking to any of them actually? Like maybe they would be friendly if you would say something to them. I don't know. Planked Eye Saint says, tips for couples that are looking for a new church after being burnt by the one they've gone to all their lives. What about when one spouse isn't ready yet and the other spouse really wants that community? Wow, that's a tough one. That's hard. My husband and I, when we were looking for a church for us, we struggled with that for so long. Like, what is church? Do you have to love it? Like, do you have to like be on board with it all, you know? And like, do you really need to feel community? And I feel like, number one, you yourself play a huge part in that if you feel accepted or not. But also, I would not want to be searching for a church with a victim mentality. Like, oh my word, this last church did me wrong. And now I'm like trying to find somewhere else who sees it my way. Like, that's not going to end well either. So I would say if your husband's not on board yet, then keep waiting. You have time. Try to seek out other people or other ways of getting fellowship, maybe a church-based Christian moms group. Or, you know, there's so many sermons online and stuff. Just keep seeking God, and when the time is right, maybe you'll find the perfect church for you guys. But let me tell you right now, it's not going to be the perfect church. I do wholeheartedly believe that doing church is for the fellowship of worshiping God together. You know, two or more gathered together, praising God. It's just like completely different experience than being at home. And also, it's a place for us to use our spiritual gifts to serve others and to work with others. And yeah, I definitely feel like it's a biblical commandment to do church in some way. Okay, Mama A says, do you ever wear pants because you are cold, like around the house, or leggings under your dress? Yes, I do wear leggings. I'm wearing leggings right now, actually. But I wear them under a dress usually, or a skirt. Because yeah, I get cold sometimes. I don't really bum around the house too much in PJs, not because I have a problem with it, just because I'm super unproductive if I'm not dressed and my hair combed. And yeah, honestly, I get dressed right when I get up in the morning and I change into PJs like right at bedtime. I would like to change that about myself sometimes, I think. I need to learn to relax a little more, but I have two speeds, like 0 and 100, and there's not a ton of in between. Delilah, oh my goodness, check out her channel. I will link it down below. She comments in every one of my videos. She's the sweetest girl. Do you have any tips for single girls? When you want to not be single and you feel loneliness, like that's the worst. I totally get it. Especially if your friends have partners and stuff, that's really hard. But I would say just make sure that you don't compromise your beliefs and make sure you don't compromise what you want. But at the same time, don't think that Mr. Right is gonna look like you imagine in your head, because you know what? God has a sense of humor, and if you say, I'm never gonna marry somebody shorter than me, I'm never gonna marry somebody who's younger than me. You know, I said that for years, and Josh is 8 months younger. Don't have a list, like an itemized list. He must play guitar, he must this, he must that. I used to have a list back when I was younger. He must work on a farm and play guitar, and like, it makes me laugh so much thinking about it now. But I feel like God will bring the perfect guy around at the perfect time. So keep doing you and don't be waiting around. Live your life to the fullest. Do the next thing. Invest in your hobbies and all that stuff. And yeah, I think that it'll all work out in the end. So yeah, check out Delilah's channel if you're looking for another Christian girl to follow. Kayla Sheets wonders, how do you keep a healthy work and life balance? How do you both decide when is family time, when is couple time for just you and your husband, and when it's work time? How do you step away from work if you don't get your whole work list completed in the time you had originally planned? Something I do is I have like non-negotiables, like usually 2 that have to get done the next day. And then everything else is a bonus. I mean, I still try to get a lot more than just 2 things done in a day. But, you know, at the end of the day, I can put my head on my pillow. Even if my stuff is not all crossed off my list, at least those 2 things are. And those are the things that had to happen. Also, I feel like another good tip is to be all there with what you're doing. I kind of have a routine where I do my work time in the morning, the kids are happy playing, then Fletcher goes down for his nap, and then I spend a little bit of time with Evonnie, get her set up with a craft or teach her a game or something. And then after I do that, I crack at some work or sometimes outside work where it's cold because Fletcher's sleeping. I don't have to worry about taking him outside, you know, and then I have time where I work out, I go on walks, whatever. And you can't do everything in one day, but I feel like if you plan ahead in your week, you can get everything done in a week. You can get your workouts in, you can get family nights in, you can get a date night in. Often date nights for us just look like putting the kids to bed and being intentional about like looking in each other's eyes and talking about whatever is on our minds. Or, hey, you scared me. Oh, Josh, you scared me to death. Oh my word. That was horrible. Josh just came home. Oh my word, I just saw these eyeballs peering at me. Oh, my heart is pounding so hard. Okay, I have to wrap this up. Well, that was convenient. I have actually only one more question left that I wanted to answer. Noreen Lorty says, what's your secret for getting your kids used to playing by themselves without watching cartoons, etc.? My kids don't know what screen time is, which I know people would probably say that's just sheltering them too much. But honestly, if it's not a discussion in the house, then they can't beg for it. We'll revisit it again when she's 3, but for now, we don't need screens, and so we don't worry about them. And sometimes I'm sure it would be the easy thing to do to just hand her something to distract her, but I feel like if it's not even an option, it becomes a little bit easier, and you just think of creative ways of doing things. She might not know what a gazelle is or that, you know, what an earthquake looks like. It's because she's not seeing screens, but she learns a lot through books and stuff. And I guess I should answer this one pretty carefully because I only have 2 kids and they're still pretty young. But I taught school for 6 years and I kind of see and know the effects of too much screen time. But oh my word, it just works me up when I see kids in just like this vegged out state, just staring at the screen. But a secret for getting them to play by themselves, I think, is at a very young age, like even when they're very young, put them down on a blanket with some toys and walk away. They need to learn not to fear being alone. And yeah, I think like that's probably one of those things that I did from pretty early on, not out of like an intentional thing, but just because of sheer necessity. I had to get stuff done, and I would put her, you know, on the blanket or in her swing or whatever, and I would get some work done. I mean, I'd be nearby, of course, but I wouldn't have to be like right up against her. And I heard somebody say, like, if your kid's happy, and like I do this so often, I'll see Evonnie doing something so cute. She'll be like playing pretend with her doll and like singing to it and like scolding it and feeding it food. So I just want to like get involved with her. I'm like, I stop myself. I'm like, no, she's happy. Let her alone. And then of course, sometimes I will jump in and play with her too. But honestly, if the kid's happy alone, like, don't interfere. They can learn to play by themselves. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a bad one to ask for that. That's just kind of some things that I do. Hopefully that helps you out. So I think that's everything. If you'd like to see the first part of this Q&A with my husband, go ahead and click on this video right here. Or if you already saw that one, here's another good one for you to watch. Click on my face here to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys. And yeah, they actually have a whole holiday gift guide on their website, so you feel free to go ahead and check that out.